When do you feel closest to me? I'm so glad you got stuck with this one and not me.
Sorry, parents. Obviously, it's just after we've had sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The moment feels heavy and light at the same time, and yeah, it feels overwhelming but really like settling. So yeah, I definitely feel close to you than that when you're like all snuggled up and I look at you and it's kind of perfect.
Yeah, you did good, babe.
Yeah.
Good, your turn.
What do you remember from the first time we met?
I remember walking into the bar and you and I immediately made eye contact with each other, but we had already planned on meeting there, and so I felt like it was gonna be weird because you're the hottest girl in the bar, and so just like instantly was like, oh shit. And so I like walked away with to like go stand over by the bathrooms and pretend like we hadn't just been staring at each other.
Yeah.
And I was super nervous, and so I was texting you. I was like, "Hey, I'm here. Where are you?" But I already knew.
And that's what you remember?
Yeah. When do you think I realized you were the love of my life?
I don't think I was there for that moment.
You weren't.
You were there for mine, but from the stories that you've told me, it was when we were broken up and you were at a concert and it was raining and there was that song playing and that you were just like, oh my gosh. I don't know if that's the moment it was, but that's the moment that it certainly seemed like all of the dots had connected.
I don't even remember telling you that story, but you're absolutely right. It was after we had broken up the last time, and and I like finally realized like, wow, like I had the love of my life. I had
What was the song?
Everything.
There was that
I can't remember what song it was.
something about stars and moon.
Oh yeah, the Above and Beyond song. Yeah. And I was just like sitting there in this like moment of self-actualization, and I was like, wow, like I had the love of my life. I had everything that I had always wanted, and I just like burned it to the ground. And I didn't think that and so I didn't like reach back out to you even after I realized that, because I felt like I had already done so much damage that it wasn't like feasible for me to come back again.
Yeah.
And so then I was just like super depressed. I was like, oh wow, I had everything that I dreamed of and I ruined it.
Yeah. I mean, that seemed like the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what are you hesitant to tell me?
I actually think that I sort of answered this question yesterday, or like we sort of touched on it, but I feel like I'm hesitant to have the New Zealand versus America talk with you.
Yep.
Because I feel like I feel like I'm having to pick someone to disappoint. Like I'm either gonna disappoint you by saying like, I can't like keep staying here, I'm gonna go back home, my family, or I'm gonna have to tell my family like, hey, we're gonna stay here, and I know that's probably gonna break your hearts a little bit, and I'm sorry. So I feel like I avoid talking to you about that just as much as I avoid talking to them about that, because I hate disappointing people, and I know that like I'm gonna make someone upset. And so I also feel like a part of me is trying to hold back from loving New Zealand. And it's hard because I fall in love with it a little bit more every day. Like it's so beautiful and there's just the ocean and it's great here. Yeah. And so it would be so easy for me to just be like, I want to stay. Because I already know that's like kind of in my heart a little bit, but I'm trying to like reel that in. But just, yeah, it all just feels like a lot.
I mean, I love Nashville, you know, like I could very easily live there. And I think it would be different if we were moving to what wouldn't be somewhere I'd want to live.
Yeah.
And Nashville's great. And if we moved there to start out with and moved elsewhere, that would be a step I'm totally willing to take. I don't know the America that is happening right now is the America I want to live in.
It's totally fair.
You know, and when you live in New Zealand where we've got it how we do,
All we
it's
worry
hard
about are
to-
earthquakes.
yeah, yeah, earthquakes, our biggest problem. You know, it's hard to turn away from the good to go to something where you're not really sure
Yeah.
about. I think if we stay on the same page as each other and constantly check in about our experience and where we're at in the place that we're at and what we're hoping for and working towards and where we're currently sort of at job-wise and all that sort of thing, we'll always sort of figure it out, I think.
Yeah. What have I taught you about your sexuality that surprised you?
I mean, all of it.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah, obviously that I'm gay.
Yeah. That's pretty
It's a
big
really,
one.
really big one.
Yeah.
Nice work, babe.
Thank you.
Yeah, no. What have you taught me? I mean, yeah, that I'm into girls obviously was the main, the main one, and hence why none of my relationships with men felt authentic or like it was ever going to last, I guess. Yeah, it was kind of that light bulb moment of, this makes a lot more sense. It surprised me. It maybe didn't surprise anyone else.
But you handled it so well after a second.
Yeah, after I got like over the fact
After
that you
you-
were the hottest girl ever and that you were scary.
Yeah, after you like actually started talking to me, I feel like you kind of just, like it wasn't really like a, you didn't
think I
have an
was just like-
existential crisis over it or anything. You were just kind of like, shit, here we are. This
Yeah,
is what we're doing
exactly
now.
what I did do. I was just
Yeah.
kind of like, this makes a lot of sense.
Which I admired so much because I felt like you should be more like freaked out or like have more of a reaction to it. I guess just because like that's how it was for me. And so, and like you hear the stories and like people find out they're gay and they're like, oh my God, I'm homosexual. But you were just so chill about it.
I think it was like, because it wasn't, for me, when it started, it wasn't necessarily the girl thing, it was the you thing. And I was like, you could have been an alien and I would have been like, I am into aliens. You know, like I was just so into you and just taken aback by you that it really didn't matter what this was, though like you're a babe and that helped. But yeah, it didn't really, that wasn't the biggest thing that I was getting used to. I was like, oh my God, I'm so into this person, I'm in love with this person. So the rest just sort of came naturally in the fact that, okay, this is the package that this person's in. And then the fact that I told my mum and she was like, oh, okay. I told my brother and he's like, yeah. And told a couple of friends and they were like, cool. So, you know, I had a really supportive group around me as well. Oh. Who do you think would struggle more if we broke up and why?
Loaded question.
Very
Because I
loaded.
feel like you think I'm going to say you. But
Yeah.
that's only because you're more emotionally expressive. And so I feel like when you're sad, everyone knows.
Okay.
But when I'm sad, I just,
Repress.
I repress or I do like really reckless things. Like I'll probably just go on a crazy drunken spree for a while.
Yeah.
But I'll just like pull all those emotions in, and so I'll be dying inside. Just other people won't know about it. So it's not that I think one of us would struggle more than the other. I just think that struggle would be
Comes out in a different way.
very differently.
Yep.
Yeah. What's one experience you hope we get to share together in the future?
I mean, obviously, like the 5-year plan of like building a house. And
You have a 5-year plan?
of course, I have a 5-year plan. Do you have a 5-minute plan?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, of course I do. I hope we get the experience of building the tiny home in the mountains, you know, and like having the cat and Trigger and
Ruka.
the animals and
Stop leaving out Ruka.
and the dogs and and the getting engaged and getting married, I know that the whole wedding thing is not something that you necessarily ever wanted in life, but I look forward to having something in our shape and form of what a wedding is.
I want that now. I want that with you.
Yeah.
I've never wanted it prior.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I want to be married to you. I want to have a wedding. I want to do the thing. I don't know how to plan a wedding. I don't want to plan it.
That's what your sister's
But
for.
I'd like to go to it.
Yeah, I'd like to go to our
I'd like
wedding
to attend
too.
our wedding.
Yeah, like I want that experience, you know. I want I don't know who walked down the aisle or if we both walk from different sides.
I think me last. Do you
Okay.
want to?
I mean, I wouldn't mind just already being there.
Okay.
You know, like figuring that out, you know, I look forward to figuring out that wedding and where the hell it is, New Zealand or America, or if there's two, the
Just like
wedding.
the boring normal people
the
stuff.
married,
Like
the
get
house,
the married, get the
the
dog,
pets.
have the house.
Yeah, I kind of want that.
Learn
you
to
know?
drive.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
All of those things, just the normal things. I want the normal things with you, because they'll be magic just because they're with you, you know, like, yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for sticking with us. Be sure to subscribe if you want to stay up to date with the most recent releases. And if you want to check out the end card game, go to theskindeep.com/shop to start connecting more with the people you love. Thanks.